Last Friday we published this video and unfortunately there was some misinformation about the licensing situation for racing games and sim racing titles around the 24 hours of Le Mans. We would like to apologize for this and set the record straight. This is actually good news for all of you hoping to drive the two-time Le Mans winner Ferrari 99P. Congratulations Ferrari, in titles other than Le Mans Ultimate, which does not have an exclusive license for the LMH hypercars. We mentioned the Toyota GR010 Hybrid in GT7 on Friday, and the fact that the 499P Ferrari is now in real racing free is another sign. In fact, the license agreement between the ACO and Motorsport Games for Le Mans Ultimate only covers the official event and its digital version, not the carpool or even the track, so nothing is being taken away from anyone. With that said, you can still take part in a 24-hour race at Circuit de la Sarthe on iRacing during the current season as part of the Global Endurance Tour on August 17th and 18th. We can certainly still hope to see some of the cars that raced at Le Mans this year in the hypercar and GT3 categories. For now, have fun with the 5 Le Mans themed cars we are still desperately missing in iRacing. And with that, welcome back to Overtake. I'm Michel and a big thanks to our editor Luca for the video idea. With the GTE class being discontinued, the GT3 class starting from this year will be racing in Le Mans, and it remains one of the most popular types of cars, not just in iRacing but across all of sim racing. Just in iRacing there's Ferrari, Mercedes, BMW, Porsche, Audi and Lamborghini cars currently racing in GT3 competition. And as I just mentioned, in the most recent patch they added the new Corvette and the Ford Mustang GT3 cars. But there are 2 additional GT3 cars on iRacing that are no longer used in high-level pro GT3 competition. They are the Ford GT and the McLaren MP412C. With the Mustang getting added, it is perhaps a safe bet to assume that the Ford GT will get phased out, but the McLaren probably will too, considering the MP412C has long since been made obsolete. I mean, Gran Turismo 7 has a more recent McLaren GT3 car, the 650S, and that isn't the current McLaren GT3 car. That title currently belongs to the 720S GT3 Evo, a car currently in Assetto Corsa Competizione. There will be 3 720S GT3s racing at Le Mans, ran by United Autosports and Inception Racing, but more importantly it races in the IMSA Sports Car Championship, which iRacing has ties with. The fact they have taken so long to add an up-to-date McLaren GT3 car does make us wonder if there is more to it than that. Plus, there's also Lexus RCF and Honda NSX, which are both entering the end of their life cycles, so if they were ever going to get added to iRacing, then it also would have happened by now. Anyway, with the MP412C being phased out of usage, another car will take its place, and with the Ford GT already being removed, that could leave the door open for another British brand to finally get some GT3 representation in iRacing. When it comes to its lineup on iRacing, Aston Martin have only 2 cars, the DBR9 GT1 and the Vantage GT4. There's not even an older GT3 among the selections, so with there being a slot open in the GT3 fold, new for this year, the Vantage AMR GT3 Evo will be present at Le Mans, following its GTE predecessor, with the Heart of Racing team and D-Station Racing fielding it. The car has a few visual updates compared to its previous GT3 gears that can be found in ACC. It's powered by a 4-liter twin-turbo V8 developed by Mercedes, resulting in quite a nice sound. Although it's probably not going to be the best sounding Aston Martin on this list, but we will save best for last. Here's a big maybe. They did send a team to the UK to scan the likes of Thruxton and Cadwell Park. Maybe they stopped off at both of the McLaren and Aston Martin headquarters. Let's hope so. But for now, let's move on to another V8 beast that caused quite a stir last year at Le Mans. During last year's 24 hours, a NASCAR stole the show. A modified next-gen Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 was entered to mark the 75th anniversary of NASCAR, fitted with a bigger fuel tank, a sequential gearbox, headlights around 100 horsepower more than a traditional Cup Series car in its road course configuration, and a quarter of a ton less weight along with way more downforce. The car became an instant fan favorite, loved by everyone who witnessed it. hoped it would be in Le Mans Ultimate when it released in early access, and it still could, of course. Therefore, perhaps it is not too far-fetched to assume that the Garage 56 NASCAR could be on its way to iRacing and hopefully be able to be raced alongside the GTP, LMP2 and GT3 cars in various special events and the IMSA Racing Series. Yes, the car may have only raced as a one-off in last year's Le Mans event, but the pure absurdity of a NASCAR racing in the likes of the iRacing Daytona 24 Hours is just too good of an opportunity. Please let it live on in sim racing for a while. LMDH regulation cars that race both in the hypercar class in WEC and Le Mans and the GTP class in IMSA are already in iRacing. The BMW came first, then the Cadillac, and both the Acura and Porsche followed suit. Since those cars have been added to iRacing, another contender joined the field. This car made its competitive debut in the WEC season opener, but then joined the IMSA field at Sebring. Lamborghini is a beloved car brand in car culture, and their SC63 LMDH car is the marque's first foray into top-class prototype racing at Le Mans. But since the car has also competed in IMSA, it is perhaps very likely that it will join the aforementioned BMW, Cadillac, Acura and Porsche on iRacing in the future. Powered by 3.8-liter twin-turbo V8 that works in tandem with electric motor, it produces 671 horsepower and weighs 1030 kilograms. In its IMSA debut with Formula Grand Prix driver Romain Grosjean as part of the team, it finished 7th overall. A name like Lamborghini in the top sports car class is a must-have in iRacing, especially as the only other Lambo on the service is the Huracan GT3. But the final car on this list, also from another famous brand, may very well be a contender for the most beloved endurance prototype in iRacing. All of the cars mentioned that race in the GTP class in IMSA are cars designed to the LMDH regulations. There has not been any of the cars designed to the LMH regulations like the Ferrari 499P, Peugeot and Toyota that have gone to race in the IMSA GTP class. As of next year, however, there will be an LMH car making its debut in the Daytona 24 Hours. After returning to F1, Aston Martin put its development of their planned Le Mans hypercar version of the Valkyrie on hold, but it will be racing in the top level of sports cars in both the WEC and IMSA. The car is powered by a Cosworth-developed 6.5-liter naturally aspirated V12 that redlines at over 11,000 RPM. You don't need to be the most hardcore racing fan to know how amazing that will sound. So, could all these cars be added? It must be noted that this is all speculation based on the patterns of certain cars that have been added to the platform in the past. With the iRacing team being spotted scanning the Corvette and Mustang GT3 cars at the Daytona 20 Hour earlier this year, then added in time for 2024 Season 3, which began last week, then it is not exactly far-fetched to claim these cars could be on iRacing by this time next year. If you enjoyed this video, please consider to like, subscribe, hit the bell. Here's another video for you to watch with Emily updating us about the latest iRacing season. See you next time.